Hi, everybody. Welcome to this webinar on how and when to decide to move to independent practice from a law firm job or an in-house counsel job, okay, or another job that you may be doing. Before I start, I would love to have a little information about you on chat where you can let us know, are you currently an independent practitioner? Are you currently pursuing a job? What is your background? In case any of you are law students, you can let us know that as well. Okay. That will be very important for me to set the pitch and the tone of the webinar. Okay. And I've got a short PPT for you, which I'm going to display on screen. And we're going to have a conversation on that. And I regard this topic as of being of very high importance to me because I've seen people postpone their dreams of starting independent practice because of a number of reasons. So here today we're going to see what at what stage you can feel safe to transition into independent practice. If you have any questions, please write those questions to me in the chat box. Okay, now what are the questions we are going to discuss and for whom is this? If you're working in a job, whether you've got a CA or a CS degree, you've done your LLB, or you've been an IT professional, you did 3 years of LLB and you want to quit and start thinking of independent practice, or you're a lawyer working in a corporate law firm, an IP law firm or a tax law firm, or you're working as an in-house counsel and you want to quit. Okay, so the questions that we will discuss are what's the right time to shift to independent practice if I am working in a law firm or as an in-house counsel or as a junior to a senior litigator? What are the advantages of having worked earlier in my previous job? Okay, can I leverage some of them for building my independent practice? How should I make the move to independent practice? Like, what would be the first few steps to go up to take? Okay, now I have frequently faced these questions. I speak to people on calls. A lot of them are our students. Some of them are not our students, people who want to build careers in this area. So I'm going to share the insights from my conversations with you here in this webinar. Okay. So simplest thing here, to not quit without some kind of preparation for the journey. And what is that preparation? You need to identify what's your survival income that you need to earn. What are your costs and living expenses going to be? Okay, that's one. And the second part is, what are your metrics for success? What would you consider to have been a good start? Okay, so the metric is not of ultimate success. The metric is that my first step of starting up, is that successful or not? Okay, so let's get down to the costs. Now your living cost, your expenses, EMIs, all of that could vary from 25,000 to 50,000 per month. If you have a family, you're living in a big city, you have some EMIs, it could even reach to 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs, okay, depending on the stage of life you're in. Now, you will need to do that costing for yourself to identify that this is really my monthly expense and I need to be earning this for my practice to be sustainable. Okay. That will enable you to be clear that you don't have to dip into your savings. Okay. Now, what is the first milestone for success? What kind of earnings or clients would indicate that success? You could say that if my costs are met, that's a good milestone, but your costs may be variable. Like for some people, it will be 30,000 per month. For others, it may be 50,000 per month. So it will vary a lot for people. So how do you arrive at a standard answer to that? So this is how you go about it. Think of this: is having 2 new clients per month, an indicator that my practice is taking off? And these 2 new clients are not people, in your friends, family, relatives, in your close knit network, but really like people whom you didn't know from before. Are they reaching out to you? Okay. Then what about the earnings aspect? If you are earning an additional 30 to 50,000 per month in the first 6 months, per month, not total, per month in the first 3 to 6 months, that's a good metric. And you can grow this. If you can earn 30 to 60,000, 30 to 50,000 per month in the first 3 months, or even in the first 6 months, you can grow this to 2 lakhs per month by the close of the year. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in the workshop on building a recession proof practice on Friday, November 27th. Okay, but for now, just be with me to here. Okay, so think about this. Is this metric of earning 30 to 50K per month in the first 3 to 6 months and getting 2 new clients a good one? Does this give you an indicator that my practice has at least taken off, right? And that, if I continue now, I have to work on optimization and it's kicked off. Now I don't need to go back to my job, right? Now you will still need to plan for the worst case scenario. Okay, so have some savings in case of an emergency. Now, emergencies or unpredictabilities could be of various kinds. There could be delay in receiving a client's mandate. You might have relied on a few people to send you work that didn't happen. You got payment late. Maybe someone fell sick. Okay, so maybe you were out of action for 15 to 30 days, or there was something unpredictable in the market. Okay, for litigators, for example, the lockdown was a big unpredictability. Okay. Now, if you are single and have a place to stay, 3 months savings are good. 3 months savings meaning 3 months savings to meet your living costs. If you live with your family and you need to pay rent and EMIs for your house or your car, you may want to consider having 6 months of savings. Okay. Now, this is the part where you have thought of, okay, when will I consider my practice to be viable? And what is the amount of savings that I need? Now, what is the preparatory work that I need to do? So you will need to start understanding the pain points of your target audience, and you'll need to start learning the skills for the work alongside your current job. The thing is that you may not get clients for the same work that you do at the job. Client needs will differ widely, but they will come to you as an independent practitioner and you will need to know how to serve those needs. Okay, so it is not a good idea to quit with a vague sense that, oh, I'll cater to some of these new businesses, startups are there, they will need a lot of legal advice, I'll give legal advice to them. Okay, but not knowing that which startups are you going to target, which city are you going to target them in, what is your strategy going to be, what is the track record that you've built to target those startups. So this track record and all of that has to start happening before in your current job itself. Okay, so you'll have to get the sense of the market, you'll have to know the pain points of the target audience. You can learn this. Okay, there are guidance tools available. Okay, in addition, you should be talking to those prospective clients without asking for work. You must be understanding what are their business pain points, where are they struggling with law, okay, or hiring lawyers, or what could reduce their business risk through use of a legal tool. So maybe having 6-7 conversations every week with people, okay, whom you consider to be a potential clients. That will be very important. Okay, also you will have to have some access to trainings and services so that you can learn the work that you've not already done at your current job. Suppose you've got 3 years of experience at your current job with IP work. Now you can't quit and become an independent practitioner and for the rest of your life continue with serving clients of the quality of 3 years work X, right? You can't give 3 years work X work when you acquire 6 years of work X. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that you can't bank on your learning that you're getting at your current job alone. You will need to bank on additional learning. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to wait to get trained. That means that you need to have an access to training and resources. Okay, you will also need to start writing online to build your credibility. Okay, now if the question that people face here is that, can I do all this preparatory work because I'm already in a job, I have an exclusive employment contract, my organization prohibits me from doing all this? So there are two things. Okay, there may be a prohibition from getting your own work and from charging for it. There may be exceptions for doing work without charging, or at the very least, if you're a junior litigator, then you may be able to do your own work even charge. But if you are in a firm or a company, at the very least, what will happen is that you will say that this is academic work. I'm training people, sensitizing people, and I'm writing articles because I like to do this work and learn new things. So people will pass it off because this is not a problematic issue, as long as it doesn't conflict with the work that they are doing in the firm. Okay. So now what's the work that you can do? You can write and publish articles on established industry blogs, whether it is IP Leaders blog, Your Story, Track.in, Bloomberg Quint, all of these. Okay. You will also be able to write posts on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. All of this work, you must ensure that you're consistently and regularly doing this. Okay, now in some cases, so I've explained how alignment can be obtained. Now, so what can you do already? You can start learning. You can start talking to people and understand their pain points. Don't ask for work. You don't need to tell them you're thinking of quitting. Just keep helping, okay? And keep learning. Keep identifying that these are the new services people will need, and then start learning how to deliver those services. Start writing about these pain points. Then start taking training sessions. Okay, why I'm saying take training sessions is because you will be able to practice some of the issues that people face. You'll be able to practice speaking about it. We expect conversations with a client to be like this usually, that hi, I want a contract for distribution with a distributor, and I need you to send me a quote, and you as a lawyer expect to send a quote of 30,000 or 50,000, and then you expect to get a yes or a no from a client. But in reality, it's not like that. Okay, so when you get a brief like that I need a distribution contract and please send me a quote, you will have to get on call with the client to understand exactly what the need is, and then lock down on the requirements, and then say that, okay, this is the specific kind of distribution contract that you need. Like you see any paid software online, they will tell you this is a free plan ABCD, paid plan ABCDEFG, enterprise plan A to Z. Okay, so you need to explain that, and then you need to say how it's different from a regular distribution contract or a template that you get online. Okay, now this kind of interaction, how do you get the practice in that? The best way to get familiar with those things, okay, one is actually with the client when you're speaking about it, but the best way to do it is by conducting training sessions. Now, how do you train people? Because you don't yourself know, obviously. That's why I said that you need to learn the services, and then you can start training people, and that will give you the practice that you need in communicating better, communicating more effectively with clients, and helping them identify what the problems they'll face are. Okay, so they can relate to it, and then you can also show them better value. Okay, but it all starts with conducting training sessions. Whom do you conduct training sessions for? Startup entrepreneurs incubated at entrepreneurship cells or e-cells of engineering colleges, management colleges. Many of these colleges have e-cells. You could go to startup incubators, you could go to startup accelerators. There are various places you can do these trainings for. You can do this even for industry organizations. You can conduct trainings for, like, any trade body, chambers of commerce, export import organizations, all of that, and there are thousands of these organizations in the country. Okay, so what you have to do is, for each of those organizations, now remember, one formula for training will not work, because if let's say one organization is a group of tea exporters who have certain issues with export laws, another organization is facing is has gives advisory services, or advisory services and some equity to early stage startups so that they can get angel or venture capital funding. So their issues will be different. Another set of companies is another association is a group of, let's say, cement manufacturers. Okay, so there will be various kinds of associations. So you have to find out that, okay, and you can try more and more of it. So suppose if you do this training for one sector, like technology startups, you've done one kind of training, do it more, do it for 10 such colleges, or do it for 10 such incubators. Okay, if you've done another trade body training, try to repeat it for others. Try to offer a new training so that you practice basically different aspects of the skill that you have been learning. Okay, now that will tell you that I'm getting good with this now, because when you're practicing in a job, your work is fairly technical, and we do not learn enough about how to communicate about the value to be shown. Okay, so you might feel that you know the value, but you might feel that there's a gap in communicating to somebody who asks a question. Okay, so you think something, but they don't understand. So to be able to bridge that gap, you will need to practice this kind of training. Now I'm going to give you some ideas for trainings, and I'm going to have a separate webinar on trainings altogether. Okay, so you keep watching out for our emails and our webinar notifications, but I'm going to give you some examples right now itself. How to prepare for a legal due diligence before your first investment round. What needs to be done? How to negotiate term sheets with investors. You can even say how to negotiate a loan agreement and security package for commercial loans with a bank. How to create an ESOP plan, and what are the different types of incentives that you can offer employees. What are the tax issues faced by startups on an everyday basis, and how to deal with them. Corporate Law 101 for first-time founders. How to keep your business in good health from day one. Legal, tax, and secretarial requirements. How to create a comprehensive plan to protect your intellectual property from competitors. and employees and distributors and customers. 10 legal mistakes made by entrepreneurs during the first 5 years of their startup journey and how you can prevent them. How to select an appropriate service provider for legal services. Pros and cons of using free templates versus using a service such as Vakil Search or India Filings versus approaching lawyers. Legal tools to reduce likelihood of payment defaults and increase recovery rates. So does it sound exciting to you? Are these services, are these trainings sounding innovative, and do they evoke some curiosity for you? Now, what if you don't know how to provide such training? So from time to time, now this is standard, okay? Do not think that this is out of the way. You will receive queries about legal issues that you've got no idea about because you've not worked on them in your current job and you're not tuned into the sector. So that's not a problem. These are just signals for you to start learning new skills, okay? And you should read an article I wrote and a webinar I conducted on the 5 unconventional skills outside the LLB syllabus. That was on, writing articles, maintaining spreadsheets, creating Google Slides, various such skills were there, using social media. Okay, so that's one side of learning. The other side of learning is learning about the pain points and learning how to deliver the services, okay, on legal issues that you've not faced. And that's going to be a reality for every independent practitioner. Okay, so, and one more thing, occasionally you're going to receive work from a friend or relative. That is good news, that's your bonus, okay? But it's not adequate to sustain your legal practice. So irrespective of how busy that work keeps you, you must make sure that your outbound activity outreach is continuing, because a true test of your practice having taken off is what? People whom you don't know are sending you queries, okay? Because they saw your work online. That is why, that is the true test that your practice has taken off. Okay. Now, once that happens, you will feel some level of confidence that if you quit your job, you'll have enough work to meet your survival costs. Now, this work may or may not generate an income that's equal to your current salary as a law firm associate or an in-house counsel. It could be anywhere between 20% or 50% of it. If you're not earning enough as an associate or an in-house counsel, you may even get as much, okay? But that does not matter, because that means this is the time to take the plunge, because you can grow this income. Once you generate consistently X amount of income, you can grow it, okay? Because you created that from zero to something. That means that you can then work on increasing it. The problem is when you're unable to create anything new from zero, okay? So this is the time you've got to take the plunge. Okay, so the indicator is you take a decision when people outside your network start reaching out to you regularly. If you're working as junior to a senior litigator, you may already have the opportunity to work with your own clients on the side if you can manage your commitments with your senior. So then you continue that. Keep doing independent client work, earning until you clearly realize that if I focus on my independent clients, my work for my senior is going to suffer. And that's the time you want to take a call that should I move full-time to independent practice. But a lot of people say that I'm getting no time, absolutely, to do any work, any client development activity because I'm busy with my senior. Okay, now they want to quit to just learn something. Okay, now my suggestion there is that take out an hour or two to learn while you're working with your senior. Start building your credibility a little and quit in 2 to 3 months. Don't quit immediately, okay? Because you may not get enough time to nurture your own clients, but you'll get some time to learn and build your credibility. So that is something you need to build a practice of, because it's just the mental barrier. You want to try to be uncomfortable, and your mind, your body, everything is resisting that. So my suggestion is do not resist that, okay? And that's the right time to make a decision. When your work increases so much that you can't manage your current job, that's the right time to make a decision about starting out on your own. And of course, this is only applicable where you can already generate income while pursuing your job, which is usually in litigation and not in other scenarios. Okay, so you can then consider working independently on a full-time basis. If you are working in a job, then how will you get the signs? People writing enough people that they want to work with you, even if you charge them. That's going to tell you that. If 2 people write to you, 2-3 people write to you every week about something you've done, you know that there's significant potential and I could close these. Okay, and so initially you could just call people and give them free guidance, and learn about what is the problem they're facing, and those relationships that you build will count, because you can do paid work for them once you quit. Okay, your first strategy would be to reach out to them once you quit and tell them that you've quit, and learn more about their business problems, and then you could suggest new services. Okay, so this is the time where you are open, but you're not charging, you're just working, helping people out, speaking to them, getting in touch. Okay, so once you get enough volume of incoming messages, people reaching out to you for inputs, that's the signal to quit. And these people should be from outside your network. Now, one important question: what is the relevance of my prior work experience? Okay, so prior work experience is relevant, but for certain hygiene factors. What's a hygiene factor? Like, how much should I review my email? How should I edit my communication? How should I edit my memo before I send out to a client? How sure should I be of my advice? What should I say when I'm not fully sure? How should I explain this to the client, that this is the part I'm unsure of, this is what I'm sure of, and this is how we can go about it? How should I suggest a new approach to a client? Some of these things can be learned, okay? And it takes 6 months to a year to learn these things if you're dedicated at your job. Now, the thing is that if you don't get even this learning at your job, it's not a problem, you can still quit. Now, why people postpone quitting? That's important to know. Okay, why people postpone quitting is in the hope that I will learn how to generate new clients, I will learn how to manage clients, I will learn client delivery, and that experience will count. Or if I have worked in a firm for 4 years, then more people will come to me than if I work for a lesser time. All that is not so important, really not important, and it's unconnected also, because you will find out that the work coming to you as an independent practitioner is a huge variety of things, and as compared to a law firm where you are usually working on similar thing but repetitively. Okay, so you will have a narrow focus and repetitive work on that. The level of complexity can differ, but you will be focusing on a narrow area of work, as compared to independent practice where you'll be doing a variety of work. Okay, so the thing is that to expect that what I'm going to learn here I'm going to use elsewhere, that's not going to happen. Okay, in a lot of cases the work is totally different, even if you're doing the same work. Like, suppose you work in a law firm on IP and you quit to start independent practice, you will notice that only 20% of the work on IP matches the work that you did, and the remaining 80% is new. So you can say to people that I worked in this firm earlier, and that is just a way to build your credibility, but people don't inherently see that there is credibility in this. Okay, so there's no inherent credibility in it. It is how you say to people that makes that credibility happen, and it's not mandatory. Okay, because you will still have to do all the work to onboard clients. I'm just going to tell you what that work is. Okay, now this is equally applicable to CAs, company secretaries, IT professionals, HR managers, other people who acquire a law degree in the hope that they want to build private practice. Same issue happens. They think that I should work a little more in my organization and then quit. Okay, but that may not serve their interest in the long term, because the work will not be the same. Okay, if you figure out a way to grow in your organization by using new skills, that's totally up to you. That's a different thing. Okay, I'm not talking about that here. Okay, now why can't you expect this training from a law firm, in a law firm or in a company? Because see, in a law firm, client generation work is usually performed by senior partners, so you'll not be exposed to it in your initial years. In fact, even people who get promoted from senior associate to principal associate, or principal associate to a partner, like, even there's a big jump. Okay, in the expectation that is there from those associates, and there is an expectation that they can build their own clients, and those are the people who will succeed more, those who can build their own books. Okay, so the thing is that work you're not exposed to as junior associate. Okay, as an associate till the first 3-4 years you'll not be exposed to that, so you'll have to figure out these things later. And now the thing is that if you stay on for longer, you might just become comfortable getting a secure salary. You might end up building your expenses. Maybe you'll buy a car, a more expensive car than you'd have otherwise been able to afford as an independent practitioner. You may get used to living in a, let's say, bigger house, or in a different locality from what you could otherwise afford. So those things, then you have psychological comforts, and then it's difficult to discard them. Okay, so you may lose the capacity to take risks if you postpone your decision making. So the thing is that quit as early as you can, but do the homework. Okay, and I'm focusing on the homework that you need to do and the indicators that will tell you that when you can quit. Okay, so if you wait, and the thing is that if you quit later than earlier, you may be missing out on real client opportunities. So focus on doing the homework. Okay, now if you don't know how you will learn these skills and you think you're quitting too early and you want to build a plan how to do that, then I would strongly recommend that you join me on 27th November, Friday, 7 to 10 p.m., where we will discuss how to get to new clients, build a recession proof practice, how to get to an income of 2 lakhs every month. Okay, this is the link. I'll share this with you on chat. You can register right now. Okay, it's available at an exclusive price of 100 rupees one time. There's a money back policy also. If you attend the whole session live and you do the exercise, basically you do the work in it and you feel that it's not valuable, then no risk on you, you'll get your money back. Okay, but I'm really inviting you to discuss this because you will find this valuable. Okay, I'm very clear about that. The link is on chat. Okay, now let's move to, now one question people feel, okay, that should I acquire more work experience of a different kind in a different firm, or should I first go and just get my LLM degree? This has been pending for a long while. Okay, will that help me in building better or more credibility with clients? So see, there are numerous interviews of senior people on our channel also. Now the thing is that the LLM degree is not your access to getting more clients and independent practice here. You can definitely, if you have it, you can say that I have this degree also, so I know what I'm doing. But all the other steps of showing the value, okay, that has to be there. So you will have to do all the work that you have to do for outreach anyway. You will have to put in the steps for onboarding new clients. I'll discuss those on 27 November. Okay, so you'll have to do everything that the person who doesn't have the LLM degree does. Okay, and you cannot expect that clients will automatically appreciate because that tag is there on your CV. That will not happen. Okay, and it is more about us as lawyers that we feel obsessed about tags than clients. And you might have clients thinking on the other side that, you know, this person will charge us more simply because of this tag. Okay, so what I am saying is that focus on the work to be done. Okay, and whatever tags you have, you will already have some tags. Okay, and you will be and clients will be reaching out to you after looking at what you've done earlier. So you will be able to leverage all of that to say that, you know, listen, you've come to me through this way and you've seen the kind of work I've been putting out, you found it relevant, so you know that you can trust me. Okay, that's going to be the tone more than, you know, I'm in Harvard LLM postgrad, so how can you not trust me? Or I'm going to be the best because I have a Harvard degree. You can't say that, right? So, but on the other hand, if they come to you and you're saying that, okay, see, you've been reading my mails for 3 months, or for a month, for a week, or for a month, and you liked a particular document I made, and you've been talking and you've been finding more and more insights from me. So, I mean, I don't think there's a question of trust here because I have clearly helped you out. So that's the tone you want to have. Okay. Okay, so one more thing you want to consider now, whatever you want to do with WorkX or LLM, if your purpose is different from starting an independent practice, please for sure go ahead and do it. If you want to work in the US and you want to do the LLM degree and give the New York bar, look for jobs there, that's a different thing. Okay, do that. If you want to go into teaching, that's fine. Okay, so, and if you want to move to a better law firm job, then you move to another law firm, all that is fine. But for independent practice, this may not count, is what I'm saying. Okay, and always when you're postponing decision making because you want to do one more thing, remember what's the cost, what's the opportunity cost, how much time do you lose, how much money will it cost you to get the LLM, how much time will you lose, how much traction will you lose, because if you spend that time and money on the traction, you might have been able to build at least build a good track record, right? So you have to be willing to postpone all of that. Okay, now another thing, we often confuse our need for training with the idea of working with a senior. So we think that, okay, I need employment and I need training, and we club the two together and we say that the senior will train me. Okay, this is how it becomes: the senior will train me and pay me. Okay, and that becomes our excuse from starting independent practice. Now that's a problematic approach. Okay, so you will always feel the need for training. Law is infinite, right? And client problems can vary from time to time. There will be new areas which will emerge. Okay, so but if you postpone this for training, the thing is that even if there's a new law which comes into force, okay, like when Competition Act and the competition regulations were new, everybody had difficulty understanding it. Everybody relied on EU jurisprudence. And then the Competition Commission of India started releasing its own kind of orders, and it was a unique way of dealing with things as per the Indian market. Okay. But people of all ages and experiences had to deal with it afresh. Same way with IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Same way with RERA. So when the law was new, everybody dealt with it afresh. Whether you're senior or junior, it didn't matter. Okay. So the thing is that every time you will have a need for training or mentorship. We also train, people at a law firm on some new aspect of it. For example, we recently trained people at a leading tax law firm on the criminal aspects of tax prosecutions. Okay, so there is a need for training all the time, but and you can take that. You can have access to multiple trainings, multiple mentors, but you don't need to confuse that with employment. Okay, because if you confuse that with employment, the thing is that you get into the job with a different expectation. You get into the job saying, okay, money doesn't matter right now, it's important for me to learn. And what will your senior say? Your senior will expect productivity, right? And he will say that, okay, I'll help you out as and where I can, but you'll have to figure this out on your own to a huge extent, right? And plus the senior may be working on something else from what you will work on as an independent practitioner. So what happens is that there is a frequent risk of disappointment, because the expectation you have is different and the senior's expectation is different, and it's very logical. Everybody is right from their own point of view. But what can you do about it? My suggestion is that disconnect training, disconnect employment, separate the two. Okay, so for employment, get to the market straight away. For training, start learning. Okay, so that, and then start learning and have access to mentors. You can have access to multiple mentors who actually give you time to teach you and train you. They'll give you 1 hour if you need it. Okay, that's much better than being in a job expecting a senior to give you 1 hour in 3-4 days or in a week, and that 1 hour comes but something else, some other conversation happens, all that stuff. Okay, so that is one way to look at this. Okay, now, and I'll just explain this to you, that how is it different. Olympic athletes, professional sportsmen, business leaders, they all have multiple coaches to train them, right? They are not saying that I will compete and learn. Unlike lawyers, we say that I'll do the work and learn. Olympic athletes never say that. Michael Phelps would have never said that I'll swim and in all the Olympics and get better by myself and reach the top. That doesn't happen. They always access multiple trainers. So a coach has a responsibility now to coach you to achieve success. And you don't have to work for the coach. The coach may charge you, but that's professional, right? And clear that this is what you're charged for. This is what you will have to, you can do, and this is what you can achieve. This is what you have to pay. Okay, and that ends with that. So you don't have to be in any risk of lack of expectation and reality not matching. Okay, now that gives you the opportunity to start really getting on the field to build your independent practice. Okay, now you can have access to a volume of training and guidance. Okay, we'll explain to you how in November on Friday 7 to 10 p.m. workshop. I'll explain to you how you can use all of this to create your own independent practice. Okay, now I'll just explain one more thing. So now we've had young lawyers who are already doing many of our courses, and they are using those to upskill themselves while having access to multiple practitioners. So we know that this method works. Okay, and we have had lawyers who've gone independent by separating this method. Okay, so it's not that this is an experiment. I'm saying this to you is logical, has worked earlier. Okay, now the last question that people frequently have is this, that if I don't have a job currently, should I get another job, or should I first or should I start independent practice? Now the question is, why did I want a job? Do I want to sustainably be in a job, or do I value security, fixed salary? Do I value the tag, or is it that it's just a stopgap arrangement for starting independent practice? Because if you want to get a job just to learn all the work and all of that, then refer to my earlier conversation, that you can start independent practice right away, have access to training, and just move on. Okay, but if you are really thinking that what is going to be a better way and I want to start independent practice, if you're really thinking that I want to get to a job, but I'm not getting one, so what do I do? My suggestion is this. Okay, start independent practice, start working on both fronts. Okay, Now, you don't have any of them, right? You don't have a job offer, you don't have a client. So you start working on both fronts. What does that mean? Start learning, start building your credibility, okay? And start building your network. A lot of these aspects are going to be similar in the initial phase for both getting a job and your first few clients. Okay, the work that you do now to build your credibility and the articles that you publish, okay, these will help you in your job seeking efforts and vice versa. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to put this work in your job applications and your CV also. Okay. Now, these are going to impress recruiters at law firms and in companies. Why? Because you've done real work at the level that a client can read and appreciate. That's how a recruiter also is going to look at your CV. That's how they're going to talk to you in an interview. Okay. And now there are more benefits. If you have independently been able to secure a few clients and deliver services, then for a law firm, what goes on? A recruiter thinks that, oh, this person is partner material. This person can get new clients. Secondly, what goes on is that this person can work autonomously. Okay, we don't need to supervise this person. They'll learn fast and they'll grow, and they have the potential all the way to go up to the partner level. The third, okay, is that if you've got clients and you've earned, let's say, 50,000 per month from clients, and you've got a job interview after that, you know that you can negotiate a salary much better because you'll be giving up on the practice that you have and on the growth opportunity. So you will be having the confidence to negotiate a better salary and to apply to and to land a job with a firm that pays you more. Okay, so you won't just take any job coming your way. You will choose the job. You'll have a higher freedom of choice. You'll have a better negotiating capability. Okay, and if you decide to change your mind, you might just choose to continue building your independent practice. Okay, or you could find a job that you really love. Both outcomes are possible. So there's a common pathway there. The only part where there's double the work is when you're reaching out, because to some extent you have to apply for jobs and you have to continue applying to independent. You'll have to continue implementing the process to generate independent clients. This place has more work, but it's worthwhile. Okay, the common work is starting to learn the skills and build your credibility. Okay, the other duplication is the real investment in your career, because if you get a job also, you will remember the time and the effort put in to generate clients, which somebody who's been working in a job from day one will find it hard to understand. They'll be like, oh, why is business development such a pain? I can't do it. I've not been wired for it. I've not been trained for it. I can't do it. Whereas you would say that, oh, I just did it a few months back before getting into this job. And even if you have to do this 3 years later, when you're looking at generating business for the firm because they are considering somebody to make principal, associate, or partner, you'll be like, I had just done this work 3 years back for a few months before I landed this job. So I'm happy to start out what it takes. And so you will be way more optimistic, and that really increases your growth opportunities, right? Okay, so now do you want to learn more about shifting to independent practice? If yes, join me on Friday, 7 to 10 p.m., 3-hour workshop, how to build a recession-proof practice. And what are we going to work on? We will go to work on how to identify client needs and pain points, how to conduct your outbound activity in a way that you get incoming queries. What are the steps needed to translate those incoming queries into paid client work? How to create new services of high value so that you can run your practice profitably and beat the competition. Okay, so that client acquisition is exciting rather than a pain. Okay, it's not demoralizing. You'll be excited to generate new clients and negotiate fees. Okay, and how to accelerate your learning process to deliver new services. All of this we will be working on. And what's more, we will have mock conversations with you on the roadblocks that you may have faced in the past or the roadblock that you're currently facing, okay, while interacting with potential clients. These mock conversations could be on fee negotiation, identification of services in light of your past experience or your interest area, all of that, okay, identification of new trainings that you can give potential clients, all of that, okay. And this special one-time offer, this is available for 100 rupees, and it will not be available at 100 rupees again, okay. This was a way more expensive workshop, and we brought the price down for a special edition, okay. Now the link has been shared with you on the chat window. If some of you joined late, you can see it again. I have shared it once more. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm looking forward to answering questions from you, receiving any doubts, any questions, did you find out ways in which Did you find out a new access? How can you implement what we just had a conversation on? Is there a new access to starting your own practice for you? Please feel free to share.